Hey, what's up guys? It's Enemy Stand User. I hope you like my new little custom anime avatar character. I wanted to improve and add more expression, maybe different colors and detail as the channel goes on, just to add and express the channel a little bit more. But today's video is very hype because we're going to be going over my thoughts and theories for the Culling game arc. And this video is sort of serving as a part 2 to the last one, but seeing now as how we are fast approaching the return to weekly JJK. Finally, after Gigi's month-long hiatus, I wanted to give you more of my thoughts and viewpoints now on the crazy things going on in the arc in the Culling game. So remember to like and subscribe for more regular JJK content, and let's get right into it. So to start things off, I wanted to ask you, the viewer, this question. Do you feel this uneasiness? What is happening right now in Jujutsu Kaisen is an event that will shake the world. This brain known as Kenjaku, inhabiting Geto's body, stated it wishes to bring back the Heian Era, or rather the golden age of curse techniques. But what does that even mean? This is the world of the future in Kenjaku's words. Or rather, this is a world from 1,000 years ago, when Jujutsu sorcery was at its highest, when curses ran rampant throughout the world, causing scourge and giving birth to evils of the highest order, such as Ryomen Sukuna. If you notice closely, Gigi is actually taking reference to the real-world Heian period in Japan, taking place from 794 to 1185 AD, and you could really tell from the character design and the sort of historic elements put in the series. And during this time, it was very culturally rich with clothing, literature, and beauty from the era, giving it this famous Japanese touch, with so many authors drawing inspiration from it. But here, where Gigi Akutami is drawing inspiration from, is that era's superstition of curses and sorcery, giving it that really eerie and dark sort of tone. But right now, the Culling game, initiated by the fake Geto Kenjaku, is bringing this modern world to this cursed world, sort of changing where curses stand in the world, and now they're running rampant and forcing the humans in Japan to change in this kill or be killed scenario. So it is really dark. But before I dive too deep into it, let's go over a summary of the rules of the Culling game itself. This Culling game is a death game where after awakening a curse technique, players must declare their participation of the Culling game within 19 days or their curse technique will be removed. Players have to kill other Culling game players for points. Sorcerers are worth 5 points and non-sorcerers are worth 1 point. If a player does not earn a point within 19 days, they are subject to curse technique removal, essentially killing them in the process. If a player reaches 100 points, they may use their points to create a new rule for the Culling game as long as the game master dictates the rule does not affect the duration of the actual game. So these rules really force players into a difficult situation for survival, especially for the Jujutsu sorcerers who are trying to save lives. But we know now that the sorcerers, they do have some plan and they are at least willing to take action. And I think this is like a sorcerer sort of battle royale, really, seeing as how there's a game master sort of interface and like it's a survival of the fittest type vibe. But there's also layers to this in that Fushiguro's sister is now involved and she's up and around, and I'm sure she will have a big impact, maybe even being an antagonist or more of an obstacle for the sorcerers, and we might even end up getting like a sibling fight with Megumi and his sister. That would be really crazy. And now Tengen offered an escape for Gojo for the back of the prison realm seal, and currently the sorcerers are splitting up and on the move. Still though, one oddity I wanted to point out is Hikari Kenji, and that now he would add this kind of salvation for the sorcerers power wise, kind of like Yuta Okotsu is. And in fact, some think even Yuta stated that Hikari might be stronger than Yuta is, but we'll have to see further how that will play out. But I'm sure Hikari will add a ton of hype and flair to the sorcerer team, seeing how respected he is, and he actually is suspended right now, so he might have some sort of attitude problem, or he may even have a problem with the higher ups or how the Jujutsu Society operates in general. Kind of how like Yuki is as a sorcerer in a way. But Hikari will add a lot to the group. So now I wanted to get into an interesting bit about my own take, my own thoughts on all this craziness going on. And first I wanted to point out about Geto's words in chapter 136, and when he initiated all around Japan, adjusting sorcerers' brains, making them for vessels for sorcery and power, with idle transfiguration. And in Geto's words, initiating thousands of malevolent Yuji Itadoris all around Japan. So this is something that he's creating. He's initiating this sort of evolution into the world, that it's something that is neither human nor cursed, but something beyond that. And that he's just initiating just this chaos into the world, and he wants to make this new world. It's not free from cursed energy, but it's drowning in darkness. And I'm sure in this arc we're going to see some really dark, some really crazy and complicated events. The players as well, they're going to change, and they'll be forced to kill each other, with the strongest surviving around. And we already have seen a couple Culling game players already besides Tsukimi. There's Hana Kurozu, who's a sorcerer from the Heian Age 1000 years ago, with the power to extinguish cursed energy and to actually, that could act as a key to free Gojo, as well as Fumihiko Takaba, who might even have Nanami's 7-to-3 ratio ability, and that would be insane, and it opens up so many other possibilities in this arc. So Gigi, he or she is super talented, and it's sort of playing this, it's like she's playing this 4D chess right now. She's like having a big brain moment, because there is so many options to go from here in the series and in the story. It's just amazing to see. But we still could get a chance to see some new faces, some new characters, other than the Culling game players, of course. Maybe Chozo's siblings could come into the story now that they could get free, or they could add more to the chaos. Maybe even adding more info or new info on Noritoshi Kamo or Kenjaku's past. That would really be really awesome. But even Tengen, I'm sure he will kind of see, we'll get to see how he operates and what role he could play in the series. Being, in my opinion, Tengen is like the foundation of humanity in a sense, and you could tell by everyone's reaction, if Kenjaku got to Tengen, humans would really be screwed, because there would be no border or barriers separating curses and humans. And the way things are looking right now, with Tengen not being able to merge, or he wasn't able to merge because of what happened 11 years ago with Toji, and that waiting period, Tengen has been evolving, and things are going to escalate quickly. Even Tengen's words stating that the Six Eyes, the Star Plasma Vessel, and himself are connected by fate. So this world is really tipping out of scale, it's tipping out of balance with these events going on. And Sukuna as well, his plans are unknown, his motives are unknown, and he could very well make his presence known now during this arc, now that the balance has tipped and this golden age of Heian is starting to come back again with the era. So when you think about all these parts taking place and how the balance of power is being tipped out of order, you have to expect some change in the series, especially like with the characters. And even though the sorcerers may have their own plans in this game, this Culling game is not going to stop until it ends. And the people of Japan, they're going to be forced to really evolve and to become these monsters for sorcery, in a sense, to ensure their own survival and to use their new power for their own safety. And I do not see this ending well at all for the Jujutsu sorcerers, and I believe things are quickly going to escalate and they're going to get out of hand despite everyone's efforts. Another thought too is the Jujutsu society, like with the clans and the higher ups, there's almost no info on how they actually responded to the literal Culling game, with them actually making moves to make multiple execution orders on people like Geto Suguru, Satoru Gojo, Yaga Masamichi, and Yuji. So it just adds and stresses the point that the Jujutsu Society is not entirely looking out for the sorcerers, but they do have very ulterior, very suspect motives in the story. But also the clans, the big three clans. In fact, they have to make, I believe they have to make a move. And right now, if you were to follow JJK, that's pretty much impossible for the Zenin clan, as they aren't doing much movement now because they were all slaughtered by Maki like she was this Itachi-like force or something. But the Zenin were just erased from the map. And even the other clans feel the Zenin are no more, and it's now just the big two. But Gojo is now, with him sealed, I feel like other sorcerers should step in, whether it be the Kamo clan, other clans, other sorcerers, but definitely now that's happening. We see it a little bit happening with the special grade Yuki Tsukumo, who now finally stepped in, and the long-awaited Kenji Hikari now coming into the story, and it could add so much power on the sorcerer side, and there's a lot that could go on during this arc and that could take place. Finally, though, I wanted to again state my theory that when Gojo does get free from Prison Realm, he could very well be this force or be in a state more in line with what a curse is. And seeing on how this Heian era is starting and the Culling game is starting, and it makes the balance of power tip more in the lines with a curse, and seeing how Gojo is to some degree he's tied with Tengen, and how Gojo could respond to all this death and madness going on in the world and that's taking place. I don't think that's too far off with that theory, but I definitely could be wrong. And just seeing the level of influence and raw power Gojo has, though, he's just not human. And depending on how things play out, he could very well evolve right along with the conditions of the world. And that's just in my opinion, but even the higher ups, they do not want to unseal Gojo. And you can't help to wonder why that is the case. You can't help to wonder why these events are going on. But still, though, some characters, they're starting to take shape, and I'm sure more will start to change during this period. And I think everyone will emerge differently out of this arc. They'll be very different. I mean, just look at Maki, for example, if you doubt it. And she's very different. And there's definitely going to be a lot of deaths in this arc, seeing how it's sort of a pattern in the series. And it's just going to be, it's going to really set the tone, and it's going to be pretty epic. No doubt the Culling game arc is definitely going to be really interesting and fun, maybe even surpassing the previous Shibuya incident arc in its shock value and its raw epicness. But we'll get to see it more real soon, this week in fact, finally how it will play out. But please tell me and share your thoughts on this arc and how you feel about the video. I would really truly appreciate that. And remember to like, subscribe, and to share the video. That would help me out tremendously. But thanks for staying and thanks for watching to the end. But you guys stay safe and have a good one. I'll see you in the next one. It's going to be awesome. Bye-bye.